All right, as you are probably aware, because the mainstream media are obsessing about it, and I've kind of fallen into the trap, tomorrow is budget day. It is the pre-election budget day. It's Grant Robertson's, I don't know how many budgets he's done now, heaps in common parlance. And, well, the government likes to keep it secret, but a whole lot of all the nice extra spending has already been signalled and announced probably several times over. And the government says no major tax changes in this budget. And all the commentators say, as they do every year, well, it's going to be a fine line between spending too much in an election year and priming the election pump and forcing up inflation and overdoing it. But the government does not want to be seen to be mean in election year, and it is a question of priority. So tomorrow it's going to be budget. But if we didn't have a Labor majority government, what would the budget look like? And if we didn't have a Labor majority government, it'd probably be a combination of a national-led government with an increasingly large ACT party in support, and maybe Winston Peters floating around there somewhere. We know the Maori Party wouldn't be involved. So what might a budget under that alternate government look like? Well, ACT's actually bothered to put one out, and we are joined now by the ACT Leader David Seymour to see what it would look like. Morning, David.
Hey, Sean. How you going?
Good, thank you. Hey, I first need to ask you, putting out an alternate budget obviously takes a bit of time. It's never going to be implemented. Why do you bother?
Well, I would question your idea that it's never going to be implemented. The point of
well, it's not going to be implemented tomorrow, is it?
No, but it actually, Sean, comes back to respecting voters. Now, I know they haven't been doing that in Gore lately, but I still think democracy's worth a shot. And the purpose of our alternative budget, and the reason we bother, is so that New Zealanders can have a real choice, because what they see is Labor and National, lots of rhetoric. Labor are basically promising to carry on doing exactly what they're doing, and the Nats saying that they'll do something different, but without providing a single number. ACT's the party that says we have a real choice. We don't have to continue this decline. We don't have to be on track to become a large Fiji. We can actually change our future, and that means less tax, it means less waste, it means more respect for people trying to make a difference in their own life. And I think that putting it on the agenda is the first step to making it actually happen. Okay,
give us the three main points of ACT's alternate budget.
I think the three main points, first of all, a lot less expenditure. There's a huge amount of waste. You only have to look at the growth in the public service since 2017. You've got 14,000 more full-time equivalents in the Wellington bureaucracy. Now, we would reduce that. That's $1 billion a year straight off the bat. Altogether, we reduce expenditure by about 7 or 8 billion a year. And people say that's radical. Actually, Labor's increased spending by nearly 50 billion a year for no results. So coming back by 7 or 8 billion.
What's total government spend? What is the total government budget a year, David?
Well, last year they spent 125 billion. This year they're on track to spend 129 billion. When this Labor government got into power, along with New Zealand First and the Greens, they were spending 80 billion. And then they proceeded to go completely nuts, and they haven't stopped since.
So that's like a 15%. If you're going to cut 7 or 8 billion off government expenditure, that's, a 15%, 14% cut in government expenditure.
No, it would be about a 14 or 15% cut on the increase that the current government has made. It would be closer, if you take, say, 8 billion off 130 billion, then it would be around about a 6 or 7% reduction in spending.
Yeah. And where would you cut that money from, David? Just on this first point, where would you cut that money from?
Yeah. So we've gone through and itemised that out line by line. So I'll give you one example, is reducing the size of the bureaucracy. But I'll give you other examples that people may not be happy about until you talk it through. One is that we have this winter energy payment, and there's certainly seniors who are doing it tough. But we're giving it to people who are paying 33% tax and then giving the money back. We would target the winter energy payment at people who are truly hard up. But if you're someone who's got some more investments and you've got some more money, then you won't get that, but you will get tax cuts. At the other end of the scale, we have this fees-free scheme, hundreds of millions of dollars a year for 100%, 1 year of 100% free university. Now, if that scheme had meant that kids from disadvantaged backgrounds were going to uni more often, then you might say, well, this has been worth it. But it hasn't been. It's just a transfer to some of the better off kids in society. And of course, for the rest of their lives, they will pay more tax to pay for it. So there's quite a few areas where we say, look, we're not going to we're not going to give people money and then tax them to take it back, or vice versa.
Just inefficient. All right.
There's also
Point one is the reduction in expenditure. Point two.
Point two is that allows us to dramatically reduce